Hi everyone, welcome to this episode of WealthAbility Live. My name is Hannah. I help you discover wealth through tax and build a better money resilience. So today we actually have our guest, Bhavna. We're going to talk about making money flow. So in a bit, I will bring her to the screen. We'll talk about money and energy because a lot of us know that money is energy, but then Bhavna is a heart-centered mentor, and I've been following her meditation for years, so I'm really looking forward to this. So let me just bring her to the camera. Okay, so technology. I have my laptop here, so if you do have any comments, make sure you do comment. And hi, Bhavna.
Hi, Hannah.
Hi. Good to see you here.
I know, it's happened so quickly.
Yeah, it does. It does. Okay, good. So, how have you been today? How's your flow today?
Yeah, today has been quite a nice, gentle day. So even though I've been very, very busy, things have just flowed. Things have
Yeah,
just
yeah,
kept
that's
moving.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So today we're talking about the flow. Yes, I think inflow is very, well, it's a very good feeling when we're saying we're doing the things that when we're in flow. So we'll talk about that, especially when it comes to money. So earlier I mentioned Bhavna is a heart-centered mentor. So just to tell everyone a little bit more about yourself and why did you call yourself the heart-centered mentor?
Okay, so it's a funny thing sometimes to say I'm a heart-centered person. So how did I come to that? Well, I've done meditation for years. I've done a lot of energy work, a lot of healing work. Everything always boiled down to going into the heart. So everything I do, I have to look at it and go, where is it coming from? Where am I going to? And it's about finding the balance in my heart. And the
Yeah,
heart is where everything meets.
yeah.
So this is where the ultimate balance is. So if you're coming into the heart, and that's why I call myself the heart-centered mentor, because it's always about coming into that place where you're balancing your life.
Wow, balancing, that's really important. Of course, we'll talk about balancing in a bit today. So when it comes to heart, and of course, some people might say, yeah, meditation or all this energy stuff sounds a bit woo. But when it comes to heart, we all heard like follow your heart. I think there's a reason of it, following your heart.
Absolutely. Um,
Yeah,
we've been trained not to follow our hearts.
yeah,
And that is our intuition, and that is our internal guidance system. We're trained to, well, we're conditioned to follow logic. We're conditioned to follow what everybody has taught us. And if we listen to ourselves, everyone goes, what are you basing it on? Where did that logic come from? And they rubbish it. And so as a result, we've learned to not listen, or we block it, or we hide it from people that we're listening to it.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's absolutely true. And of course, today we're talking about money. And when we say, sometimes we can feel that there's a like blockage. Like no matter what we do, sometimes, especially in business,
Yeah.
we feel that we hit a plateau. And it's like no matter what we do and how hard we try, and money just not coming in, like all the opportunity it seems coming in, but like somehow there's a blockage that we repel them or it falls away. So is that something to do with the flow, like when it comes to that circumstances?
Yes. And the flow is in the heart.
Yeah.
It's so like at the beginning I was saying it's about we're used to not listening to our heart. So over the years, what we've done is we've made a block, and that block centers in our heart, and it blocks
Yeah.
our flow. And when you go into yourself and you start releasing those blocks, it's actually in your heart center that you begin to start releasing it. And you feel it as you sort of let go of each layer. Everybody thinks we live in a world of, I want it now. It should have happened by now. And that's not how it works. So what you have to do is you have to use everything in your life as an experience to get the flow going. There's not one thing that you can't use. And that's about understanding how the flow works for you. And for each person, it's individual, because all of our blocks are different.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I suppose it's like when you say follow your intuition, that's really your ultimate internal guidance
Yeah.
for this kind of situation. Because like when in business, like a lot of business mentors, business coaches, they will say you need to do this, do this, do this. And when you get like cash flow hit, or the money not coming in, you need to like call XYZ, you need to call 100 people or something like that. So actually, when I was talking to you the other day, we talk about this yin and yang balance. I suppose a lot of business advice we get is more focused on the yang balance, getting things done, but not really focused on the like inner work or the in part.
Yeah. So if you think about the yang energy, is a very pushy energy. It pushes you forward. It's very, the raw aspect of it is you see it as a raw masculine energy. That's just like pushing and driving and pushing and hitting, and you keep hitting.
Yeah.
And that's the way that goes forwards. You keep hitting through all the obstacles. Whereas the yin energy is like water, it flows. And it'll hit an obstacle, but it'll go around it. It won't try to barge its way through it and hit its head and graze itself in the process. We've learned to try and hit through rather than just gently flow around it. And that's where we all get blocked, because we think if we can't go through that rock that we're coming up against, that life is not working for us. Whereas actually it's about finding the right way forward for you. And for each one of us, it's different. And we have different experiences as a result. And it's not just about going into business. It's about whether you're looking for a job, you're looking to change something in your life. This works in every aspect in different ways. And the flow works according to what you're here to experience for yourself.
Wow, that's so powerful. Like it's like water. It's like you actually flow through it rather than hit through it.
Yeah.
And that's so powerful. By the way, if you're watching, if you do have any questions for Bhavna, make sure you do comments. Hi, Suan. So and also make sure you do share this video out, because I believe it's very powerful and it's very important message that we listen to our intuition and balance these two energies. Okay, so yes, I suppose it's like when we feel we're in the plateau, or things like we feel money is not coming in and get really stressed out. Probably it sounds very counterintuitive, but it's like perhaps at that point we more need to focus on the flow, more need to listen to the intuition and perhaps relaxing to it. It's scary.
Relax. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really scary. Yeah.
And that boils down to trust and letting go of control.
Yeah.
They're the two key things that block your flow. Trust and control. The more you try to control, the more you block it. The less trust you have in life, the more you're blocking it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And we've also heard a lot of saying that the universe is abundant, and it's like you're always being taken care of. But sometimes we have this sort of a desperate feeling, like especially when money is tight. We think, yeah, when money is tight, we cannot spend on good things, and we perhaps like we like on the surface, we still have this mantra like where the universe is abundant, but in deep inside, we still have that desperation.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? And like, how can we get back into flow if we caught ourselves in that sort of scarcity mentality?
Okay, so I think we have a tendency to control money anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
Unless you're one of these persons who doesn't know, it just spends, and that's a different kind of not flowing, because you're always getting into debt, so your money's being controlled at another end. But I found myself about 4 years ago, I had a period of not working, and then my savings were dwindling, and I had to get back into work because I had a mortgage to pay. And these are everyday situations. So when you've got a mortgage to pay, there's no question about not paying it. You pay it or you lose your home. There's nothing there out there to save you. You have to pay your mortgage. So I came close to the month where I was like, oh my gosh, I've got to pay my mortgage next month. This is all I've got for my savings. How on earth am I going to make it work? And I was literally at that point going, how am I going to make it work? So I was looking for work. I was coming across different blogs. All these blogs are to do with my own life journey. So rather than go into it, I'll just tell you the crux of what happened. So in the end, I got to a point where I went, do you know what? I'm just going to go out, treat myself, spend the money, and see what happens. At the end of the day, if I have to lose my house, that's part of my journey. And I just trusted that whatever was happening for me was going to happen in the right way. So I spent money. I found myself walking into this agency, signing up. Next week I had a job.
Oh, wow.
And up until then, I was struggling to get agencies to even offer me a job. But the moment I let go of control and trying to make it happen and trying to impress, all of these things weren't working. The reason they weren't working was because I hadn't been working for a while, and they were like, well, if you've not been working for a while, we don't know how well your work is going to be. Even though I had a solid work history before that. So things can go against you or they can go for you, but you have to learn to trust what's happening. I've had similar experiences when I broke my wrist. I was doing temporary work and I broke my wrist, and they don't keep jobs for temporary work. So I just went, this job is mine for as long as I need it, and just trusted. And while I was off, nobody would take that job. Literally, they couldn't get anybody into that job. And so they readily welcomed me back. And I just trusted that it would be there for me as soon as I was ready to go back. And it's things like that. We don't think about it, but it's that moment of utter desperation where you can't do anything. You just kind of go, I trust. And there's something inside you happens when you get into that flow of complete trust, and that's when it happens.
Yeah, that's definitely so powerful. And also, you also hit a point that everything happens for a reason.
Yes.
And we get to trust. That's part of your journey. If you are going to lose your house or anything happen, that's part of the journey. But trust that good things will happen outside of it. Yeah, that's so powerful. Wow.
And I'm still living in my house.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So of course, like for the people watching, it doesn't mean that like when you hit that rock bottom, you just absolutely not do anything and spend all your money. It's not everyone.
No.
It's not like that. But it's really trust your intuition and get into your own flow. It's yours and it's unique to you.
Yeah.
Your journey is unique to you.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And because I've been following your meditation for quite a while, and you also help with like meditation with your flow and your emotion. So how does that help you, like with, say, the meditation? Does it get you back into flow when when you are feeling like desperate?
Okay, so meditation helps you get back into a place of inner connection.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a really simple case of just feeling that deep connection. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get back into the flow like that, because it depends on what your journey is going to be about.
And that can be quite controlling as well, because like, yeah, I don't feel in flow, and I want to, through the meditation, I want to get back in flow. That's quite controlling as well.
Absolutely, because you're using the meditation for a purpose. You're not getting into your flow.
Yeah.
And so you're trying to, like you said, you're trying to control is actually, it's everywhere we go in every aspect of our life. So one of my things of control is I always have water handy. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna die of thirst while I'm talking to you. But it's that, well, what if I cough? It's that kind of little security that we keep for us. And that's what control's all about. It's about feeling safe and feeling secure, which is the primal urge of every person.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's like when people say leap of faith, when they want to change a job or start something new, and it's like it's super scary because something hold you back is like make you safe, but then you have to leave that in order to pursue your heart desire. That is really, really scary. And I think we kind of get back into the heart as well, like heart desire. So does that mean everyone has to absolutely pursue what their heart is telling them to do? Like when it comes to like leap of faith. So what's your view on this kind of situation?
Okay, so there are different levels of understanding that as well. Let me just draw the curtain here because the light is really coming.
Yeah.
So we all go through different aspects of our journey where we're influenced by other people. So if you're trying to become self-employed, and this is definitely something that's applied to me, you come across all these people that say, I'm going to help you get into, come and do my mentoring, come and do my coaching. I'm going to help you get your business up and running, blah, 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 blah. But actually, I did it and I was being pushed, and I lost my flow. That year was harder for me than what I expected it to be, because I was pushing against my flow.
Wow.
So even though I was doing a lot of work, I was doing like morning meditations, Facebook Live, I was allocating a lot of time to doing work, but it wasn't getting me anywhere because I was going against my flow. So for all of us, we have different moments where we have to do things. And, in the healing industry especially, you learn all these energy techniques, the transformation techniques, and you go, wow, I can do all this. But what's your role? What's your journey about? This is what we don't listen to, because even though you might do all this stuff and you follow the mantras and you follow what everybody else is saying, and this is how you get into the flow, you're not, if it's not your flow. You might be following someone else's flow, and that then works against you too.
Yeah, definitely. Because when we see, like, say, working with this mentor, like this person work with this mentor and get results, but it's different from different individual. Like that person, maybe the way she's following is in her flow, but it's not necessarily your flow.
Yes.
So that's why, like, say, mentor, but people have different results.
Yeah.
And that's absolutely.
Yeah. So even like when I do work and I'm guiding people, at the end of the day, I will always say, how does it feel to you? Because actually, if it doesn't feel right to you, and there's some kind of resistance, then you're going to resist it. And even if you can't tell straight away, you will experience some form of resistance in the way you take it on board.
Yeah, definitely. And I think you also touch a very important point, like feeling. See, like really understand how you feel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely. Feeling is a big part of the flow. When you feel any form of resistance, any negativity, any sadness, anything that drops your energy, you're out of flow, you're out of balance. And you can only re-experience that again when you find that deep inner balance. And it doesn't just happen because you say, right, I'm going to get myself into balance, because then you're trying to control your balance again. But it's about just keep reminding yourself, going into the heart and not control anything else. You have to go in, you have to let go of everything else around you and just keep going in until you feel that connection deep without trying to influence anything around you.
Yeah, definitely. And I suppose also when we are feeling not in balance, not in flow, everything is in mess. Actually, sometimes we just like accept it's okay to be in there. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to
Yes.
feel that way. Yeah.
Actually, that's a big part of being in your flow. Because actually, when you're in your flow, whatever you're experiencing, you have to experience it in that moment. So something happens and it makes you feel sad. Feel it. Let yourself feel sad. And then as you let yourself feel sad, it flows away. But if you say, oh, that feels sad, I'm not going to pay attention to it, you're blocking it because you're resisting it. So anything where you don't let it happen naturally, you're resisting it and you're creating a block, and that blocks the flow. So actually feeling in that moment is the way to free.
Yeah, definitely. It's like life is not all about being happy, being positive all the time. Sometimes like little things be getting a bit messy or these things. Yes, it's okay. It's okay to be like being where you are at the moment. I think it's
Yes,
more of being in the moment.
yeah, and you can be happy all the time in a sad situation if you're in the flow, because you're experiencing the sadness, but you're acknowledging you're experiencing the sadness. So you're aware of what you're doing. And that makes you feel happy because you're letting it flow through you. There's a different level of happiness that you attain, peacefulness, by being able to be present in every situation. That's the biggest challenge, is to be present 24/7.
Yeah, that is definitely. Yeah, that's definitely true because we are living in a world like we have to be absolutely right. Like especially in my industry, like being an accountant, working with numbers, you have to be right all the time. You cannot make mistakes. But these
Yeah.
things do happen. We do well. We are all human beings. But sometimes I had a really, really big time like learn how to let go of this but really be in the flow, be with the client at that moment. And then
Yes.
actually the relationship transform.
Yes. And actually, with the work I do with energy and the transformation work, I cannot do it if I'm not in the flow at that moment. So I have
Yeah,
to be in tune with whoever I'm working with. I have to connect to their energy and be in the flow with them for us to have the best session. And you can
yeah,
only do
definitely.
that if you're present.
Yeah,
That's what we
absolutely.
call, yeah, that presence with somebody else. That's what we call oneness.
That's beautiful. Yeah,
So you're acting as one, even though you're two separate people, because you're working in the interest of whatever you're working for, that one person.
yeah, that is so powerful. Yeah. By the way, I saw some people just tuned in. Hi everyone. So if you missed the beginning bit, make sure you do go back because actually this interview we are talking about flow. So I don't have any scripts. We just go with the flow. and see where it goes. And I think that's the best bit. It's like in the flow, and the interview will go where it should be.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and I think this is the bit that we all forget to trust, is that you don't have to have scripts. Life is not full of scripts.
Yeah.
You've got, you know, the ultimate level of connecting to your spirit and spiritual connection, life is a stage. You have your role to play. Enjoy it. And if you keep that in mind, it sort of helps you to remember to see the beauty of life, but also the comedy of life when things go wrong.
Yeah, comedy of life. Yeah, that's really interesting. Because funny enough, I just been like started doing some stand-up comedy, but I think doing comedy is a very, it's a high level work of art.
Yes.
It's like what makes a good comedian is really being the presence and be real. Yeah, we cannot just try to be funny. I think being funny, you get to be in the moment.
You've got to be in the moment, yeah. Because once the moment is gone, the joke is gone.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true. Sometimes it's really not, doesn't matter what you say, but when you're in the moment and in that flow, and then you crack a really nice joke and loads of people laugh.
Yeah. And it's that, when you had that moment where you just burst out laughing with people, and
Yeah.
no matter how much you try to explain it to anybody else,
Yes.
even if you try
Yes.
to explain it, all you can do is laugh.
Yes.
That's being in the flow, because you're not thinking about it, you're just responding. And we need to bring that into every aspect of our life, just being in that one connection. I had a really interesting experience a couple of years ago. Was it a couple of years? Maybe a year ago or something. I was at a work event and we were doing sports things. Now, I'm not really a big sports person, but I participate in everything because it's for the fun. And we were doing this running thing, and I don't run fast, but I was in my flow at that moment, and I was just in my mind going, I've got to get there. And that's all that was on my mind. And then I went, I'm running fast, but he's faster. I need to go faster. I've no idea how I did it, but I got to the end point. I put the ball or whatever, the hoop that was in my hand, down, but I didn't crash it down or fall down. I did it really gently, and I just sat down, put it in there as if I had walked there. I didn't feel out of breath. That's because I wasn't trying to run, but I was in my flow, and my flow was making me run. And I was just completely merged in that moment, not thinking about it, but just knowing what I had to do, thinking it and it happening. Now that, if I can do that all the time, that's when my life would be like that, really easy all the time. Because the way I ran then, I've never run like that before. It was that much. I was just connected in that moment, and that's what we're trying to achieve when we're trying to achieve the flow. That everything just works out as you think it, as you're flowing.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Actually, like Sunday, I just ran a British 10K. And what I find about running is when you are like feeling stressed out about why these people are passing you, and actually it makes you even more stressful, and it's not, you don't enjoy it that much. But then if I just let go, just say, I'm just going to trust my intuition, because actually running or any part of sports, I think it's just all aspects of life.
Yeah.
This flow and connecting with your inner self and trust, that's very important. Because at the end bit, I had this feeling actually. At the beginning, I slowed down somehow, but I just let go of any expectation. I just let go anyone say, I don't mind anyone passing me. But then in the end, I was actually passing a lot of people. And I had this this energy like driving me, say, go faster. And I did. So that was, that was really, really powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was being in the flow for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
just to add
definitely.
a bit of humor to what I was doing, I was playing, there was a male team and I was in the female team. So, so the yin energy was working really well. We
Oh
won.
yeah, yeah. Wow, that's definitely true. So yeah, we actually touched about like yin and yang earlier on, and you mentioned about in the yin energy like women or male. Um, because I've heard this kind of thing, because I know you also know about like moon energy and also like moon cycle and with our female cycle. Was there any difference when it comes to managing the energy between male and female, or like the people who are dominate with like male energy dominates? Is there any difference? Like,
Okay, so we're predominantly one energy or the other. So as
yeah,
females, our predominant energy is feminine, and for
yeah,
males, the predominant energy is masculine. So we have
yeah,
to learn to balance the masculine energy into our feminine energy, and the masculine have to balance the feminine energy into the masculine. And it's all about learning to do that in the right way for us.
yeah,
In terms of moon cycle, sun cycle, we all experience it. Females have the moon cycle as connected to their femininity, the womb, and all that kind of stuff. But men have their own cycles too. Only I can't tell you about it because I don't experience it. So I can't say I've worked with it because I haven't, but
yeah,
a man would be more in a position to tell you about what kind of energy cycles they work with. And that,
yeah,
that's more how they build things in, but it's going to be a lot more aggressive. It's going to be a lot more action orientated than the feminine energy, because that's naturally the two different, I'm talking about at extreme ends, but like male energy is all action and female energy is all softness. But we are actually a combination of both, and we all express it in different ways in our lives because we have different variations of it. No two males or females are the same.
yeah. So when it comes to balancing the two energy, and also earlier on we mentioned about when the time we are worried about money, because we are talking about making money flow. When the time we are worried about money, or especially um, like being self-employed, when we say listen to this mentor, taking action and everything. So I suppose it's like both listen to our intuition, being in the flow, but at the same time we also need to take actions. It's like we
Yes.
cannot just expecting the money to come in us when we're just meditating and not doing the call, not doing things. But it's all in the flow, enable us to do the phone calls, call the right
Yeah.
people, taking the right action.
Absolutely. And taking the
Yeah,
right opportunities when they come. So when I
yeah,
talked about my mortgage and the job that came up, it wasn't the
yeah,
job I wanted to do, but money was
yeah,
flowing to me if I took it. And it's
yeah,
about taking that flow coming in.
yeah, yeah. And also, I think when working with the mentors or choosing who to work with, I'm a big fan of trusting your intuition of like who to invest in, and also when it comes to choosing the accountant you work with, really trust your intuition if that's a person for you.
Definitely.
Yeah, yeah,
But also remember, there's no such thing as a wrong decision,
yeah,
because whatever your journey is there to teach you, you will have to
yeah,
learn it regardless of sometimes your intuition will take you into a situation that you go, I didn't ask for this. But actually it takes you there because that's where your deepest learning is going to happen. And this is where we fight against our own flow, because we go, I don't want that pain. I don't want that. And actually, you need that learning to actually get into the flow at a greater level. So it's about trusting that every experience is there for a reason.
yeah. So basically, there's no need to worry about what's gonna happen tomorrow, and the outcome is always serving you. And even
Yeah,
if that's pain and that's part of your journey. even if that's the time that you are stressful with the money and you're experiencing some cash flow dip in your business or in your personal life. That's part of the journey, and there's a lesson to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just like for me, my journey has been all about embracing the feminine, the flow, in a way that it's not normal in life. So the normal aspects of life don't work for me, because every time I try to follow the normal paths, try to do things the way anybody else does it, I hit so many blocks, it's incredible. And it's when I don't do what's expected of me that things flow better. So that's what you just have to start trusting, that follow your intuition. It doesn't matter about anything. It's just trust that you're being taken care of. And once you can start trusting, that's when you start following what's inside you. And the happiness that comes has got nothing to do with money. It's got nothing to do with lifestyle. And it's got nothing to do with friends. It's about what you're feeling inside.
Yeah, that's definitely true. That's definitely true. I remember because in the business, like when I had a like downtime, like the business not running really well, we had like cash flow issue. Actually, there are still good things happening to us. There's still loads of things I can be grateful for. And sometimes we just forget. We just so like muddled up with something. The things goes wrong, but actually, the time I was in the bad situation with money, I actually also had a good opportunity. I still have people willing to help, and all these things. I think sometimes it's really recognize what's in
Yes.
there. Yeah, and the other thing I find really powerful is, for now I always have cash available in my wallet, so that I don't get into the sort of desperation, and then end up feeling, grumpy or anything. So I think that's also the good like one of the technique. It doesn't mean you have to do it, but then it's just something work for me. I don't feel stressed out when that I don't have money. I know it just gives me a sense of certainty. I have cash in my wallet. But then, and I end up asking for bigger deals. I started to get paid for speaking. So that's, yeah,
Brilliant.
I think that's one thing for me. But of course, if that's you feel that's right for you, or the audience, if you feel that's right for you, and you can just give it a try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's about letting your life unfold, not pushing.
Yeah.
So, and everyone's, like every journey is different, and it's just about going with what feels right for you at that moment in time.
Yeah.
Just trust it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. So, wow.
I was going to say, and just,
anything?
yeah, I was just going to say, and trust that moment. Always trust it, because when it starts flowing, you won't be thinking about it. It'll be happening with your thoughts.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I think we've been live for almost 40 minutes.
Oh gosh.
Time flows. Yeah, time flows. Yeah,
it's supposed to have been 20 minutes, Hannah.
Yes. That's what happens when you're in flow. Yeah, time freeze. Yeah, that's what happens. Okay, so and of course I think there are a lot more we can explore when it comes to making money flow, or just flow in general. And I know, Bhavna, you are doing amazing work for people. And if anyone wants to find more about your work or your meditation or anything, or more about you, so what would be the best way to connect with you?
At the moment, connect through Facebook, because my website is all over the place. I haven't decided what my website needs to look like. Everything I do doesn't flow. So I'm just thinking, no, I need to just put that aside for a while. So I'm just going, and this year I've made it more about me. So everything I do, I'm doing it very slowly. So I've planned a retreat, which you're actually coming to.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, but that retreat is one of the few things I'm doing this year. And I'm also going to be doing an intuition build, connecting to your intuition course. That's going to come out probably in September. But I'm not actually rushing to put it on because I'm going to enjoy life this year. It's for me, and everything else is secondary. So I've kind of put things in different order, and that's about getting my flow back and staying in my flow. So
definitely.
So connect with me, have a look on my Facebook. I write things every day on my page generally, and it's always something that sort of goes, what should I write about today? And then I just write it, and that's it. And if you connect with it, you might. I do a lot of things on acceptance, and flow is about acceptance, on trust, on love. See what you connect with. Because that's
definitely.
your flow.
Yeah, definitely. We talk about trust, accepting, and be okay with whatever you are experiencing. So these are a big part of it. Okay, so I hope everyone who's watching live or watching replay has had a great time with us. And yes, do connect with Bhavna and also your life heart-centered mental page.
I've got a heart-centered mentor page and a life healing values page. So I've got 2 pages. Connect to all of them if you want, because I write different things slightly on each one. And if you connect the 3 pages together,
see which one feels right.
yeah,
definitely. Okay, so perhaps later on we will pop in the link to the page in the comment below. And yes, choose whatever you feel right to connect with, and then we can we just happy connecting and go with the flow and enjoy life this year. Okay, so is there any final thoughts?
I think I've given lots of final thoughts.
We've given a lot. That's what happens
let's
when
keep the flow going another time.
Keep the flow going. So go connect with Bhavna or connect with her page, and then let's just enjoy life and accept and trust.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So thank you very
Hannah,
much for coming here.
I've enjoyed it, Hannah. It was good.
It's really good. Okay, so thank you everyone for watching, and either you are watching live or watching replay. And again, make sure you do share this video out because a lot more people will need this flow. And do connect with Bhavna or her page. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Bhavna, and hope you have a fun and wonderful evening.
Bye.
Bye.